The right buyer questions expose whether a vendor has real assurance or just a safety slide. This AiVELabs episode gives product, engineering, risk, and quality teams a practical, vendor-neutral playbook for buyer questions for AI assurance in 2026. Use a simple operating loop: probe, verify, compare, and select. That loop keeps conversations concrete when stakeholders disagree about quality or risk. Why this matters: buyers are flooded with claims. Structured questions create comparable answers and reveal gaps. They also signal that your organization takes AI risks seriously. Enterprises shipping AI into banking, insurance, healthcare, and digital operations cannot rely on hallway demos. Buyers, auditors, and internal second-line risk partners ask for repeatable methods, version artifacts, and clear ownership. If you cannot explain how you tested and what evidence you keep, you do not have AI quality, you have optimism. Core concepts come next. Do not memorize jargon, operationalize each idea into cases, metrics, and gates. Concept 1: Evidence over adjectives. Ask for methods, metrics, and samples, not state-of-the-art safety. In practice, treat this as a measurable property, define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 2: Change management. Ask how model updates are tested and communicated. Silent change is a red flag. In practice, treat this as a measurable property, define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 3: Customer controls. Ask what you can configure: policies, logs, pins, and human review. Shared responsibility needs knobs. In practice, treat this as a measurable property, define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 4: Failure modes. Ask for known limitations and recent incidents. Honesty predicts partnership quality. In practice, treat this as a measurable property, define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 5: Integration realism. Ask how evals work in your environment with your data. Generic benches are not enough. In practice, treat this as a measurable property, define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Concept 6: Support for audits. Ask what evidence packs they provide for your auditors. You still own the outcome. In practice, treat this as a measurable property, define what good looks like, attach evidence, and track it across model, prompt, data, and tooling changes. Here is a real-world pattern. Setting: Fortune 500 procurement evaluating 3 Gen AI customer support platforms. Buyers asked for update testing evidence and customer configurable policy gates. One vendor could not show change notice practices. Another failed a buyer-owned groundedness pilot. The selected vendor answered with artifacts and supported audit evidence exports. Notice the pattern: define scope, run controlled tests, capture evidence, decide with named owners, and feed failures back into the next cycle. That is how AI quality becomes a system property, not a slide. Common mistakes slow mature programs. Mistake 1: Accepting marketing adjectives without artifacts. Teams that skip this create silent risk that surfaces in production or audits. Mistake 2: Forgetting to ask about model change notices. Teams that skip this create silent risk that surfaces in production or audits. Mistake 3: Ignoring what controls the customer can actually configure. Teams that skip this create silent risk that surfaces in production or audits. Mistake 4: Skipping buyer-owned pilots on your data. Teams that skip this create silent risk that surfaces in production or audits. The antidote is discipline: small goal sets, explicit thresholds, change control, and monitoring that connects production incidents back to evaluation suites. Key takeaways for your team. Takeaway 1: Demand evidence, not adjectives. Takeaway 2: Probe change management and customer controls. Takeaway 3: Require honesty about limitations and incidents. Takeaway 4: Verify with your own packs on your data. Write these into your team wiki and release checklist so they survive staffing changes. Your next steps this week: compile a 15-question assurance list for vendor meetings. Then, require written answers plus a buyer-owned pilot before shortlisting. Keep the artifacts, prompts, datasets, scores, approvals so you can defend the decision later. Where this fits the AiQualtest method, learn the foundations with AiVELabs, practice with hands-on cases, and validate with governed evaluation evidence. Visit aiqualtest.com and learn.aiqualtest.com. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for weekly AI quality, evaluation, and governance episodes. Additional depth for practitioners. Treat buyer questions for AI assurance as a controlled experiment. Version the inputs, freeze the environment where possible, record who approved exceptions, and rerun after every material change, model upgrade, prompt edit, retrieval index refresh, or tool permission change. Pair quality metrics with latency, cost, and safety signals so trade-offs are visible to product owners. When results regress, open an incident-style review even if the feature still looks fine in a demo. Governed teams prefer boring, evidence-backed releases over surprising wins that cannot be reproduced.